Hi everyone, Jackie here with Enjoying Life's Journey. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our monthly budget with me video. We're going to be budgeting out June of 2022. We budget out the month, but we also want to budget out every single paycheck. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to take a look at all of the 4 paychecks for June. Now we are already on the paycheck for us. We get paid every single Friday, which would be June 10th. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Jackie. We like to do a zero-based budgeting method using my Excel sheet. It's a template I created over the years. It is for sale on Etsy. The link is down below. More recently, you're starting to follow or trying to align our budget percents and categories with what's called the 60% solution. So with the 60% solution, your budget or your cash flow plan is divided into 5 categories. The main category, the biggest category, which is the 60%, is your committed monthly expenses. And this is calculated before taxes and all of that. So the 60% of committed expenses would include taxes, health deductions. The other 4 categories are divided up evenly, 10% into each category, and that is your retirement. So basically trying to get your committed monthly expenses, including your taxes, down to 60% of your income before taxes, getting your retirement up to 10% of your income before taxes. The second category is your long-term savings or debt repayment, if you're trying to pay off debt, or if you're trying to save your emergency fund, or trying to maybe save up for a bigger purchase so you don't take on debt again in the future. The third category would be your short-term savings or your yearly bills, kind of like car registration, those type of things, or maybe some of the irregular spending like household or personal care items that you're not spending on a monthly basis, but a little bit more. Maybe you need to save up a little bit and then you spend it. So short-term savings. And then the last category, you were trying to get to 10% of fun because you want to be able to enjoy your money. So you're going to see those categories reflected on my budget template. We are not at those percents yet. This is a goal that we're working towards. So I'm going to talk to you as we go through the budget and just see what kind of progress are we making from last month. So let's jump on the Excel sheet real quick and you can see what am I talking about. First thing you start with though is the yearly tab. So you go through each month and you kind of get your base budget. And then the reason I encourage you to do every single month and to kind of do a year at a glance is because that's when you're going to see some of those bills that are a yearly bill, your registration or things like that. Or if you have an irregular income, like my husband, you're going to notice the fluctuation in overtime or maybe hours. And then also maybe you have extra paydays. On my template, I mark on the top here with a star on each month where my husband has an extra paycheck. So we are on June. I've already budgeted this out ahead of time, and that auto populates to my month tab. So now I go to my June monthly tab. So when you're on the budget template, your paychecks will be blank because that's where you're going to come in on your monthly budget and actually put in the cash flow plan for what you budgeted. Now I like to keep my original budget the way I originally budgeted it, and at the end of the month I can compare to what actually happened. So already we have changes that I had to make versus what I originally budgeted. When I'm projecting out, I do my best to project out what we think is going to happen. So for the month of June, my husband has 4 paydays. Like I said, he gets paid on Friday. And I did have a lot of people who commented on my last weekly budget video on your paydays. So we're going to share those here in a minute. So basically, my husband gets paid $30 an hour for 40 hours a week. So again, we're calculating all of this before taxes. And so his base pay every week is $1,200. So I put that across the board, and that matches up with my monthly number. When I originally budget on my template, I like to put everything in red just so I know that's my projection. When the money is officially there and that's the amount, as far as the income category, I make it black. When we're talking about spending categories, if it's blue, it means it was invested or saved. If it's black, it means the money is gone. If it's orange, it means it's still in the bank and it hasn't been spent yet. If it's green, like on a yearly budget tab, one of our categories is green because that means I have the money out in cash. So it's just little color coding that helps me at a glance see what's going on. So for my husband's overtime, they get $45 an hour, and they usually work 10-hour shifts Monday through Friday, but they started getting one Friday off a week. So he actually has the 10th off. So you guys are watching this and we're already camping. Basically, I'm filming this Thursday. I just packed everything up, waiting for Ricky to get off work. So you'll be watching this. So I had to adjust the budgets moving forward to reflect 1 week without overtime. And then here I actually had miscalculated because Ricky had a holiday pay. So they had 48 hours instead of 50 hours. So I had already changed that. But because it was holiday, it was not paid. That 8 hours was not paid at overtime rate. It was paid at the regular rate. So I originally budgeted $12.60. I had to make that adjustment for this week. So it's actually for the month we're looking at $11.40. So you can see sometimes you have to make adjustments as you go. But you'll see last week he did have the 450. So this week I'm gonna go ahead and make these black now because we're actually budgeting out the 10th. So I'm gonna do this along with you as we go. For myself, my self-employment, basically this is money that I anticipate being able to bring over from my YouTube income. So that's $180.48. I get paid on the 22nd of the month. So I just line that up with the 24th because that's the closest week that we want to keep that money together. And this money is automatically being put as an extra debt payment. Our cashback for Discover, this happens on the 6th of the month. So again, I just try my best to line it up with the closest Friday that I can, and that ended up being with this week's, and we actually did get that cashback was actually $40.79 versus the $23 we originally budgeted. When I'm budgeting for something that I don't know what it is until I get it, I basically just take over the past few months whatever the lowest amount I had, I go ahead and budget that as far as like income. So the lowest cash back we've had so far for this year was $23, and the lowest interest on our bank account was $1.22. So that's what I budgeted there. Our interest comes in on the 26th. So again, I just line it up the best I can with that Friday. And then lastly, we did have an extra $50 gift money coming in for Ricky, so that went right down to his category. So for the month of June, after the adjustments I've had to make so far as of the 10th of June, we have $6,212 that we basically want to tell it where to go. And like I mentioned, we're going to divide it up into those 5 categories. But real quick, I want to show the comments from my last Friday's video. Actually, I think it was 2 Fridays ago. So I had asked everybody, when do you get paid? Because my husband gets paid every single Friday. So thank you guys for chiming in and sharing. It's really cool to see what everybody's got going on. So Annie for Horses says that she gets paid semi-monthly. So it's 2 times a month, and that's the 10th and the 25th, or if you're looking at the US, the 9th and the 24th. So obviously our time differences are there. So that's cool. So I'm obviously, with being the 10th or the 25th, similar with Alt Fund 08, they get paid bi-monthly as well, the 15th and the 30th, so it could be any day of the week. Journeying Through Life says that they get paid, or she gets paid bi-weekly, and her husband gets paid bi-weekly on opposite weeks, so every single week. That's cool. Jillian says her husband and her get paid every 2 weeks on Wednesday and Friday. That's great. Lefty's Wifey says her husband and her get paid bi-weekly, but on opposite weeks as well, so every single week. That's very cool. And then Simple Finance says they get paid every other week, but they just got a new job and it switched to the opposite weeks. So you got thrown off. Yeah, you had to readjust there. Yeah, I can relate there. And then Making Me Better says, keep up the good work. Thank you so much for your words of encouragement. Again, I would love to hear from you guys a little bit more as far as your paydays go. Have you picked a day of the week that you do your budget on? And I'd love to hear from you in the comments for today's video. Ricky gets paid on Fridays. Anything else that's kind of irregular, we just try to line it up with Fridays. So that's kind of what we're doing. I'd love to hear what your guys are doing. So our first category, like I mentioned, is one of the 4. We're shooting for 10% in 4 different categories. This first one is our paying ourselves first, or our retirement. So last month we were able to do 5% to retirement. We were able to increase that by 1%. So for June, we're looking at 6% into retirement. Ricky's 401k with this new employer won't take effect until maybe October. So for now, we're just trying to do the Roth IRA. So we have $50 a week being put into our savings account for Ricky's Roth, and then on the first of the month, that gets transferred into his Fidelity account. And then I upped mine last month. I was doing $35 a week into my Vanguard Roth, and I increased this to $45 a week. And this does come out on a weekly basis versus a monthly basis on my husband's. We had the 50 and the 40 last week that we did that with. So this week it's going to be the same thing. So I make this blue again because I want to tell myself that this is invested or saved. So for the month of June, Ricky's going to do the 200 again, just like he did last month, and I'll be doing 180. So we'll be able to invest $380 into our Roth IRAs. The other category, like I mentioned, out of the 4 is our long-term savings or debt payoff. Now last month we were only able to do 3% for debt payment because we only took what I brought over from YouTube. This month we're going to be able to do 4. You can see here we originally had more than that. We originally were shooting for 5%, but then, like I mentioned, Ricky, the week with his holiday pay, it was not at the extra 8 hours was not at the overtime rate. It was at the regular rate, so that kind of threw me off. But we are going to do $241 towards the teardrop trailer, and like I mentioned, 180 of that is from my YouTube income, and now Ricky's able to contribute a little bit to that as well. So we're starting to try to get a better handle on our finances, on our spending, to align with these other percents. Now our big category here is our committed monthly expenses. So for the month of June, our committed monthly expenses are going to be 72% of our income. We are shooting for 60% of our income, including taxes and deduction or health insurance deductions. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments as well. Have you taken the time to see what percent is your committed monthly expenses at? You might be surprised. It might be 85%. It might even be 90%. Or you might be doing really good and it's only 50%. That would be awesome. So what we do basically within my committed monthly expenses, we have our taxes and our health insurance or life insurance. These I kind of put a box around, just indicating that those are automatically taken out of my husband's paycheck. The next grouping are basically anything related to the house. We have our mortgage, we have groceries, electric, solar, water, sewer, trash, cell phones, and Netflix. Now I do have a cell phone and I do have internet for the house that come out of, those are on my self-employment budget because YouTube pays for those. So for the month, basically what I've done is the taxes that came out of this first paycheck, I went ahead and put those same numbers for the last paycheck because my husband has the $1,200 and the $450, so this should be the same. So 43 for federal, 2031 for state, 2265 for Medicare, 9687 for Social Security. Life insurance and our health insurance, those stay the same week to week, so $5.02 a paycheck or week for life insurance. This is for the family, and then $87.66 for our health insurance. This also includes dental and vision, and this is, you know, across the board here. So what fluctuates are going to be the federal, Arizona, Medicare, and Social Security based on the income. So this week it was $18, $17.58, $19.61, and $83.84. I'm going to make this black because this is officially gone out of the paycheck. And then next week I lined up, they're going to be slightly a little bit less because we won't have the overtime. So I've adjusted that, but we'll double check on my husband's pay stub to see if we're off slightly, but this should be what it is. So again, our taxes are a little bit lower than I originally projected because we had less income, less taxes. But basically, let's see, we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So basically 10% of our income is going towards taxes, and about 6% of our income is for our life insurance and health insurance. Coming down to the mortgage, our mortgage is $1,435.96. This does include our property tax and our homeowner's insurance. The mortgage portion is about $1,350. So last week we were able to put $562.28 into savings. We are working on getting the money for July 1st mortgage payment. So this week we'll be able to do $843.08. So I'm going to make this blue because we'll be putting that into savings until it needs to come out. I already went grocery shopping. So the original plan was $110 a week. Last week I only spent $102.68. This week I spent $107.15. So I make this orange because we're going to have the money in the bank, but I need to pay that off on the credit card. Like I mentioned, we're going to try to do 110 on the next week, so we'll see if I stay within budget. Next week we'll still need $30.60 to finish out the mortgage payment. For the electric, we're budgeting 40, but the last 2 months has actually been less than that. So we're going to have that out of next week's paycheck. That's going to be due on the 1st of July as well. Our solar is due on the 7th of July. That's $81. So we'll have that out of the last paycheck. Our water, sewer, trash is due on the 10th of July, and we're going to budget 80. For those of you who watched my garden update video, we added a little pool in the backyard, so our water costs did go up last month. We spent $89 last month because of filling the pool and everything. So we'll see. I'm putting it at 80. And then the cell phones are due on the 16th of July. So we'll have that. That's $30 for $30 each, so $60 for 2 cell phones. And again, mine's $30, and that comes out of the YouTube income. And then the Netflix is actually due on the 26th of June. This is one of the few bills I'm not really ahead on quite yet, but that's fine. But we'll have that $16.93 next week. Our insurance for our truck, car, and teardrop trailer is $223.43. That's due on the 1st. This actually gets charged onto our credit card, and then I pay that off. But we'll have the money next week ready for that payment. Gas, we're trying $90 a week. I have a feeling we might be going over slightly this week because obviously the price of gas has gone up quite a bit. I am trying not to drive my car. The girls are on summer break. I'm trying not to drive my car very much, but we are camping using the truck, and so the gas for that is going to be more. So we'll kind of have to feel out how that is. But basically I'm going to make this orange because we're going to say that we're going to have that this week. We still have $11 in the bank from last week, but I filled up. I literally put $11 of gas in my car. It gave me like a quarter of a tank, but that's literally what I did. So we still need to pay that from last week. And then the teardrop trailer, that's due, or the truck payment is due, it's actually due on the 21st of July, but I have this set up to automatically withdraw on the 1st. So we're actually quite a bit ahead, like a full month ahead of having this money. But you know, we pay it early. But we'll have that on the 24th, so that's $591.97. Our teardrop is due on the 1st, so that's $117.18. We'll have that next week. And then my laser is due on the 5th of July. That's $48.89. We'll have that with the last paycheck. And then the girls each get $5 because of you guys. So one of our viewers donated through a super thanks. Basically, you can leave a super thanks comment on my channel, and they donated $9.99. I'll get paid that with my YouTube income, so each of the girls will have $5. So thank you for donating that to them. The person that donated also mentioned that they wanted the money to go to the girls, so thank you. Summer break is nice, and back to school shopping is coming around the corner. So then that's our committed monthly expenses. So your committed monthly expenses may not necessarily all be necessities. It might be some wants, but it's stuff you've committed to. So again, it's about 72% of our income. So obviously once we pay off this teardrop and we pay off this truck, we should be at 60%, which would be good. Because you can kind of see here, I have my calculations right here. So right now it shows that 10% is our truck payment and 2% is our teardrop payment. So that literally, taking that 12% off would put us exactly at 60%. So we got to get rid of the debt. The next category within one of our 4 categories is our short-term savings or yearly bills. So we're going to be pretty close to our 10% for this month, about 9%. Moving forward, I do want to try to make more of these ones a little more even, but we did need to get the tags for the teardrop trailer. It's not due till September, but I wanted to get it sooner. And then what I'm actually going to be doing is all of the yearly tags, the car, the truck, and the teardrop, basically next year we'll owe about $771 total. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split that up between the next 6 months so that come January 1st of next year, I already have the money ready to go. And then I don't have to do a big lump sum. And then moving forward, I'll be splitting up that $700 across 12 months. So I'll only need like $60 a month put aside for those yearly bills. So that way, try to make a little bit better cash flow plan. But basically, that $273.22, I already ordered the tags. I just got to check the mail and see if they're in the mail yet. We did spend $120.64 on household items, and then we have actually charged another $121.65. So that will need to come out of next week's paycheck so I can pay that off on the credit card. We did spend $45.92 kind of on like pet care type stuff. I needed to get some more lights and vitamins and stuff for our tortoises. And then this week, my daughter, we did get her some new water shoes for the lake because we're camping at the lake. So I'm going to make this orange. And I did have to get some feminine products. So we spent $17.74 this week. That will be in the bank to pay off on the credit card. And then the last category is the fun category. So again, we're trying to get up to 10%. For this month, we'll be doing about 8%. So eating out, I originally budgeted $105.25, and we're basically already spent $163.72. I'm gonna be totally real with you guys. This last weekend, I was like, I really just don't want to cook. I don't want to do anything, and I ended up ordering us Longhorn Steakhouse, and I did the dessert and the appetizer and the kids meals and the meals. We felt like, in tipping and all that, we ended up spending, like $90. So yeah. So technically I need to pay the credit card off, and we still have a few other things that, Jack in the Box and stuff. So we kind of went a little crazy. Basically I already told Ricky, hey, the rest of the month we're not eating out. That's that. The next category we have is summer break. My kids are on summer break. So I mentioned we bought that little pool in the backyard. In the past, we've done just the season passes to the water park, and we spent anywhere from $300 to $400 because we end up doing like a food package deal and parking and all that stuff. They did raise their prices this year, so I said, you know what, instead of doing the water park, let's just do, we got that pool from Walmart last month for about $260. And then let's just do some other things. So I was going to budget $125. I lowered it to $100. We have $50 next week and the following week, so we can do bowling or the roller skating ring, something like that. Adult drinks for the house. Last week we did $18.50. This week there's nothing because we are camping, so that's part of the camping budget. And then we have $25 for the following week, so $68.50 for that. Ricky has $11 a week for his NOS energy drinks, and then that $50 gift money went down to him, so he still has some money left. And then for camping, originally I was doing $95.78, but because we didn't spend as much in the grocery department as the $110, I moved that down to the camping area. So we should have $110.11 for camping. We've already purchased the food and the ice and the drinks, and we have about $25 left, so that will be towards gas. And then if that's not enough to cover at least the camping portion of gas, we're driving up north about 3 hours. So like I mentioned, the other gas here, we might be adding to the gas budget. I don't know yet for sure, but this week we had the $11 for the NOS and $85.11 for the camping. So next week, the next 2 weeks, like I mentioned, we'll just be kind of getting Ricky's NOS, drinks for the house, maybe 2 different events, but no eating out. So if you see at the bottom, we have zeros. That means we told everything where to go. We're shooting for our percents. Moving forward, our percents are going to be a little more even, if you will. So I'm excited about that. But the other thing on my template, what I have are our accounts within the bank. So I keep track of everything here. I kind of renamed this up here. I said long-term savings, short-term savings, just so I can keep it. Before I had this just as emergency fund, but I went ahead and changed it long-term savings and short-term savings here. So when we get paid, when I do the budget, like I mentioned on the 10th, doing the budget, and I know there's going to be a direct deposit into our income checking account, I go ahead and put these numbers, I line them up in this account here. So I know when I log on the bank tomorrow, or I would have already logged on the bank, but when I go on the bank, I already know what's for what, and I know that that direct deposit should be $1,208.29. Okay, but now I already know what am I going to do with it. So these monies that were for things that I spent on the credit card or for future gas, that's going to be moved over to this necessities account. And then the savings, this $843 for the mortgage, will be moved over into the mortgage portion of our short-term savings account. Then here we have, last week's grocery money I still need to pay off on the card. We have our water, sewer, trash, and our cell phones that will be coming out of our accounts this month on the 17th and the 26th. So this is money that we had from last month ready to go. Again, I spent $11.19 for gas. We're just waiting for that to process. You'll notice here it doesn't say 90, it says $49.21, because the cash back credit on the card I use as the gas money. So I just put a note for myself on here saying cash back $40.79, and I have 2 pending transactions. So when we go get gas, it just charges $1 and it's pending. So I don't know how much Ricky spent until it posts fully. So I just keep a note on there for that. My laser for June has been charged on the credit card, so now I have the money ready to go. My daughters have $34.40. Now this is officially the last amount of money that they have from the stimulus checks that we had gotten in the past. So I had put that money in their savings, and we had been using that money for clothes, haircuts, their tortoises, some of their sports that they were doing, pretty much anything for them. And now we're officially down to the $34.40 each, and this will add that $5 to this, and that will be their back to school clothes shopping. So we'll basically each have about $40 for back to school. Well, no, not quite. We still have some money from July we're adding into there. So we are getting haircuts in July, and then they'll do some back to school shopping. So they'll have about $40 to add to that. And then, like I said, Ricky had his gift money, and then we had some money there. So this is how I balance my accounts. I know what's going on at the bank. So yeah, so that's June's budget, as well as the week of the 10th budget. You guys got to see what we did last week. Again, thank you guys so much for leaving comments. I do really enjoy reading them, and I do share them on my Friday budget videos. So again, if you want to chime in, recapping on your paydays, whether you pick one day of the week and you budget on the same day that week, or if you've gone ahead and figured out your percentage of what are your committed monthly expenses, what percent are you currently at, and what goal are you going to try to get to. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.